Drywallers, shot callers, and everyone in between. Drywall fighting. And a bit of an emergency episode. Back to back weeks of 500 against the spread. Not great on picks, not great on best bets, but we bounce back. This is a no nonsense episode, an emergency conference episode. We need to bounce back. But first, let's dive right into what last week was. We kicked it off on the wrong foot. 49ers visiting the Rams. Levi South. Absolutely rocking for Mac Jones, rocking for this 49ers team that was patched work together, and they came out and kicked the shit in. Kicked the Rams shit in. Really, it was honestly, the score does not really show how dominant I feel like the 49ers were on Thursday. Picked that one completely wrong. I thought that Rams were going to cover that -5.5. Let's move on. Vikings at Browns. In this one was in London. Was this in London? Yeah. And I picked this one right. We thought that the Browns would make things tough for the Vikings, and that the Vikings had a bit of a crazy line going their way. And yeah, Browns defense is nice. Flacco gone. Flacco taking the trip over to Cincinnati. And Browns trading away Greg Newsome, making a lot of changes. So this game kind of showed that they're ready to take things into a new direction. Vikings, man, O'Connell is always going to make things work. Carson Wentz gets another W. This is I don't know. I can't put anything beyond this coaching staff at this point with quarterbacks. They can revive anybody. Bring back Tebow. All right. Raiders at Colts. Just an absolute shit pumping. Not much to say here. Ashton Genty's probably going to get shut down week 11. Like, this Raiders team is just a mess. I kind of figured it would be this way at the beginning of the season. Pete Carroll in his dementia years. Love to see it in a way, but also hate to see it. Love to see it because he's having fun. He looks like he's having a great time. And that's what I was worried about for the Raiders. I was like, he's going to come back and treat this like just kind of a dick around set. Like, not really a dick around set, but it's like he's done everything he's had to do. He's going to come back and kind of, show up, have a fun time with the guy. He just wanted to be around the guys. That's really what it was. But let's move on. Giants at Saints. Called this one, surprisingly. Saints go and upset the Giants. I'm not a Rattler believer, but I'm definitely also not a Jackson Dart believer. I know that Jackson Dart definitely has no pieces really to work with outside of Cam Scatterbo, but just I don't think that I see enough. I don't know what people are seeing in the kid, but I'm not there. What is there to say? Both these teams probably the two these are bottom 4 teams in the NFL. But it was a fun game. Let's move on. Cowboys at Jets. Georgie, football savant. Curious George is a football savant. If you don't know, now you know. This is 3 weeks now that he scored a touchdown, dominated, went up against Sauce Gardner, kicked his ass. Like, the guy is just such a stud. You got to believe in him. Great. Yeah. AI needs to talk to me. Got it. Jets. I was really wrong here. I thought the Jets were going to win this game, actually. I think that the Cowboys have been playing with house money, and I thought that they were going to take a trip up there, not really have much to lose, and sort of play that way. And they did, but in the opposite way, where it was like, no, we're just going to keep winning, and Dak is like front runner for the MVP right now. Crazy stuff. But I kind of could see that happening at the beginning of the year. Just because they're going to, once that first game happened and I saw how bad the defense is, it's like Dak's going to have plenty of opportunities to have shining moments this year. And I think he's been taking advantage of it. Officially set, we're sounding off the alarm bells with Coach Glenn. I think that this team is making his bed in New York. I think that he tried to come in there with his Johnny Badass attitude, and I don't think it worked out. Let's move on. Broncos visiting the Philadelphia Eagles, take them down 21-17. What a great back and forth game. The Eagles, I should have predicted this. I was talking about how the Eagles could have easily been 2-2. They are just, they can't get into third gear. They can't get those RPMs going on the offense. There's just, yeah, at first I thought that it was just going to be that sort of offense, just a sort of beat, which is it. That is their identity. It's like just beat you down. But the more I watched them, is there is just not enough creativity. There's not enough guys flying around the field. Some of these route patterns, some of these motions, I really don't like it. Broncos defense is just sick, and we thought that that was the case. We thought that that was the case. We had to believe in them. J.K. Dobbins, Bo Nix back doing their thing. This is a team, I mean, AFC West. We seen it now. We seen it. This thing is going through a complete turnover, and we just have to just hold on. Hold on for dear life and see what happens. But I really like these Broncos. Showed who they are here in this game. Let's move on. Dolphins at Panthers. Dolphins jumped out on the Panthers and were all over them like white on rice. And then they just completely let up the gas. Got this one, I think I got this one right, actually. We might have maybe gone a little over 500. I don't know. It was not a good week, though. But Panthers they clawed back Tetora McMillan. What a preseason shout. That kid he's on pace to be a pretty impactful receiver in the league for a long time. I mean, his skill set is just really solid. But yeah, Panthers hung in there. Yeah, the offense can sort of catch fire. That's what I've noticed with them. And Rico Dowdle went crazy. Yeah, that was an insane performance from Uncle Rico. Let's move on. Texans at Ravens. I got this one horribly wrong. I thought that the Ravens would be able to piece together something for pride. With a backup quarterback. Let's just try to show the league that we can still put together, some solid football, some solid tape. Not at all. And this is against against the Texans. The Texans who have looked god awful for what, 14, 15 months? Yeah. Ravens, talk about sounding off the warning bells, because this is, now we're starting to be like, is this a lost season? Are we looking at a lost season with the Lamar injury? I mean, if they go to 1-5, 1-6, we're looking at sort of the situation the Bengals were in last year, where it's just like, there's no way of recovering. There's no way of climbing out of this hole. But let's move on. Titans at Cardinals. I got this one so wrong, but I almost got it completely right. Like, Amari DiMercato, I can't believe that Coach Gannon has to apologize. I think that Amari DiMercato should be the one apologizing, and he should be like, you know what? I beat my ass, coach. What he's got to do something. He's got to do something to get right with his coaching staff. I know we're in the 21st century. We don't want to see those things, but this is football. You should be smacked around a little bit if you do something that stupid. I don't care. I don't care what. And this happens every year. Somebody does some. I think Jonathan Taylor did it last year. Adonai Mitchell recently, I think, might have done it. I think somebody for the Bucks did it, and it's just like, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Finish the fucking play, score the points, make millions. Don't risk it. I don't know. I think, in my eyes, Cardinals won this game, but definitely a win that the Titans needed. This is a turning point for the Cardinals, I think, as well. I think that they are. I'm taking back my blessing from the beginning of the season that I thought that they were going to win the NFC West. They look good, and they've even made me believe, and I've had to sort of even deny my eyes in a way, but I'm doing that no longer. This team, with Kyler at the helm, it's just unserious. It's Mickey Mouse. I think Coach Gannon's good, but I think he might have to go down with that ship. But let's move on. Buccaneers at Seahawks. What a game. I think this was the game of the week for sure. Where to start on this one? Sam, I want to start with the losers in a way. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. O'Connell just completely fixed him. I think Clint Kubiak is making a man out of him even more. Um, it's the Seahawks team is really good, and I'm very surprised that the Bucks were able to move the ball on them the way that they were. Uh, Emeka Egbuka, people thought that there was going to be a regression coming soon. That's not going to happen. Baker Mayfield ain't going to let that happen. He's going to spin it. Baker is elite, and I'll remind people I was not a Baker believer probably around this time last year. But hey, man, I've had a coming to Jesus moment, and I know he is who he says he is. So the Bucks come away 38-35. What a game. Let's move on. Lions visit the Bengals. This one, the score, it looks very deceiving. It was more like Jake Browning and realizing, oh yeah, I do have 7-11. I do have Mr. Always Open, Jamar Chase, and like kind of figured it out. But man, these Lions, after that ass kicking Green Bay gave them, they have put their heads on correctly. And that's just a Coach Campbell led team. That's just how they're going to react. There is no I think the Lions should be everybody's Super Bowl favorites at this point. The Bills were the team that I was kind of banging the drum for, but nah, it's these Lions. I think that they're just bloods at the mouth, man. They're bloodthirsty. They want to go out there and get in car wrecks. It's violent. It's nasty. You got to love it. Let's move on. Commanders visiting the Chargers. What the hell is going on with the Chargers? Omarion Hampton goes down. They got a flat tire there. Absolutely looking candy ass both on offense and defense. The defense is especially worrying because it just looks like it can't stop the run. And then when they go in, anybody play actions on them, it's like they're fucking in another planet. Like they're in another dimension whenever anybody bootlegs on them. For real. I don't know what's going on. I know that Khalil Mack going down maybe. Or actually, no, Khalil Mack just hasn't been looking. Yeah, that's the thing. Khalil Mack just hasn't been looking. Yeah, he went down. He's out. Maybe that, I mean, he is a game record, but it shouldn't be like this. Jaden Daniels looking solid. Like, the knee looking good. It'll probably be a year problem. Like, he'll have to deal with it all year, but he kind of looked like his old regular self. Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, old Bill, Lil Bill. Good, solid runner, man. They're starting to figure things out over there. 3-2, and you see what's going on in Philly. You see that, Dallas is just going to be kind of like, hey, a team that as long as you get some stops on them on offense, you can beat them. Who knows here for the Commanders? Maybe they're back. Maybe they're back in the race for the title of this division. Sunday Night Football, Patriots at Bills. Stephon Diggs homecoming. I'm really a great guy. I'm actually a great guy. I'm a great guy, Mr. Wide Receiver 1, Mr. Pink Baggies. I love Diggs. I have such a soft spot in my heart because he's like such a prototypical wide receiver 1, 21st century wide receiver. He was kind of the first one to have this new generation sort of route running and also like, the chains and stuff. I feel like he leads the way for some of this new generation. What else is there to say? I mean, Drake May played like a stud, dude. Like that throw that he had to Diggs, peeling out to the right. What a monster throw. I mean, the kid really announced himself, I think. First time in prime time, goes out there, handles Josh Allen. I think that the Bills were just kind of, I think that they maybe did undermine the Pats here. I felt like Josh wasn't really being as aggressive as he possibly could have been. I feel like they were kind of accepting some 3 and outs, like sometimes getting off the field or at least not play calling to like, hey, let's use this 4th down. So that, like, let's have a 4th and short and go for it. Seems to be like a Bills staple at this point, to sort of play call aggressively. And I didn't see that. I think they maybe just got a little just kind of thought that they could big bro the Pats there, and they couldn't. Uh, Pats have a really, really easy rest of the schedule. Watch out for them. I think this is becoming a playoff team. I'm going to have to watch the first episode of the season back and remember who our playoff picture is and who is in it. But, man, these Pats, I think, are clearly in there. Let's move on. Chiefs at Jaguars. This one, what a shit show the last quarter of this one was. Chiefs had it in the bag. Kareem Hunt was starting to be able to punch it in. They were figuring things out. Mahomes is so good. Mahomes is so good. I don't think that people realize, like, the Chiefs are 2-3, but if they didn't have Mahomes, they would be 0-5. And he is actually playing so well this year. I thought that would be the case. But dude, the last few minutes of this, things just fell apart. Chris Jones in no man's land doing nothing. Tough, and the Jaguars are real. This Gen Z coaching staff with Liam Cohen, they are just studs, and the defense is probably the best defense in the league. And they've just simplified things also for Trevor Lawrence, which weirdly enough, I think is what he's needed. Like he's a good quarterback. He's able to make probably 90% of the throws that you want. That he doesn't have that 10%, whether it's like those scramble plays or those big shots or things like that. But he can do that as long as you put bumpers on him. You put the little rails on him. He can do it. And that's what they figured out here is like, hey, let's actually put the onus on the run game. And then we build out Trevor from there. And it's working out. They're winning ball games 4-1. Things are really exciting here in Jacksonville. Strapsonville. Get your straps out. Get your straps out, Jacksonville. All right, let's start. Thursday night football. We got this kicking off here in a couple of hours. We got the Philadelphia Eagles visiting the New York Giants. This is going to be an ass kicking. And I think I'm going to go. I want to look at Eagles winning by like 20. I want to look at Eagles winning by 20. I'm going to highlight that. Because that's an ass shaker moneymaker. That's an ass shaker moneymaker candidate for me. Because I think that they're going to shit pump the Giants. Because it's like, they're still, yes, things are like, let's rewind the clock to this time last year. What were we saying about the Eagles? Probably the same shit that we're saying before they go play this game now. Oh, team's winning, but they don't look good winning. The offense looks out of whack. Jalen Hurts is a fullback. And they just keep winning. And you cannot forget that they have psychopathic individuals in that locker room. They have people that have serious mental issues. And I talked about this this week's episode of MMA, that there are some people whose ego is so big and they take themselves so seriously. They believe the stories that they tell themselves so much that you should take those stories seriously as well, because those people are willing to die for the crazy shit that they tell themselves. They are. Now let's talk about AJ Brown. Look at AJ Brown's eyes and tell me that that's a rational individual, and and tell me about his ego. Tell me about Jalen Carter's ego. Tell me about Nick Sirianni's ego. Tell me about Quinyon Mitchell's ego. This team is going to punch the Giants in the mouth. And they're so sadistic that they're going to be like, I think that they're going to still somehow I just had a thought. There is such a hateable aspect to Jackson Dart that I also think that they could just rally around that. Like, let's punish this kid. It's the first time he plays us. let's let him know what he's going to match up against for the next 3 years until he becomes a backup somewhere, or next 2 years before he becomes a backup somewhere. That's the sort, like, that's how I would be. I mean, that's how I am. If I'm in the trenches, I'm trying to send a message to Jackson Dart. If I'm a D tackle on, if I'm Jalen Carter, I'm sending a message. I do love Philly here. I think they're going to bounce back. I think everybody's going to get the rock. I think it's going to be an absolute shit pumping. Let's move on. Denver Broncos visiting the New York Jets. Wow. Minus 7.5 Broncos. Bookmakers seem to think that party is over for Aaron Glenn, and I have to agree. It's just when you see some of the effort on some of these plays, when you see some of the tackling, you know that this is a team that is definitely not rallying around their defensive coach and his, the game plan that he proposes, the identity that he wants to build out. That's just effort, and that just comes down to you believing in the guy. And that's not happening. And I think that these Broncos, in a way, they also have a little bit of psycho in them. And I think that those 2 losses that they have, I think it's eating away at them. I think that they have a chip on their shoulder, because I think that they were starting to believe in themselves, and now they're probably looking around and being like, you know what? No, fuck that. Let's go back to being the underdogs. Let's go back to people not believing in us, even though we're an amazing unit. And I think that they're going to go and they're going to send a message in New York. I just feel like it's a perfect storm here for the Jets, where they're both kind of dropping their arms and the Broncos are coming in pissing vinegar. So let's move on. Dallas Cowboys visiting the Carolina Panthers. Dallas favored by 3. I'm going to ride with that. I'm going to ride with that as well. I think that the Panthers sort of dopamine dumped from that rally last week against the Dolphins. I think that I've mentioned this earlier on in the season, but I do believe in the Cowboys' ability to draft, because they've had more hits than misses in those earlier rounds. And I just think that there are people on this defense. I think his name's Sanborn or something Born. But there's guys on this defense that can kind of fly around. And I think that around this time of the season is when those things get figured out. And I think that they'll get enough stops on the Panthers to be able to put together some good points to distance themselves out. So I think that -3 is just a little light. I like that. I'm actually going to leave that as maybe a greater value, better choice. Let's move on. New England Patriots visiting the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be another interesting matchup for the Patriots, because I think Diggs mentioned it. It's like it might be harder now to go replicate it in New Orleans. Against a team that got its first win, is now like, hey, we can be competitive. Like, and I think that a guy like Kellen, I don't think that dude loses a locker room. Like, I think that that's why he was a coordinator for so long. He wanted to know what it takes, because being a coordinator and a head coach is different lives. Like, it's, the coordinator you sometimes see, you talk to, they know more about your life, your family, things going on in your life than coach. Like, the head coach is oftentimes, I mean, they're involved, but in most organizations, it's going to be like a boss, somebody that you're not hearing from much. I mean, you'll hear from them sometimes, but not that often. And I think Moore now kind of understands how to command that locker room, how to have those boundaries, And I think that maybe I just kind of like believe in the guy, but I think that these Saints aren't as bad as we think they are. And he is really good on offense. Like, I think he could make like a Spencer Rattler. Yeah, go out there and win some games. But I think Pat's that's covered this minus 3.5, right? Like, it just feels like there was two elements that needed to come together. The Vrabel's methodologies on defense with some of the blitz packages with the linebackers and some of the both the pressing and also like just the way that he uses like some of those corners like um and then the other element was the offense because there wasn't a guy. I think Diggs finally was like, okay, come on now. Come on now. I'm wide receiver one. I'm the diva here. I'm gonna get 13 balls thrown at me a game. And once they put those two elements together, now this is a scary ball club. I think that they can handle that minus 3.5. Let's move on. Arizona Cardinals visiting the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, how do you stop believing in Daniel Jones? You can't. We're already here. We've come this far. I told you guys that I've seen enough tape. I've seen him throw enough passes over the middle and not get somebody blown up. I've seen him scramble out and throw it and then now go 20 yards out of bounds and hit a cheerleader. Um, I'm all in on it on the Colts. I'm all in on Coach Steichen. And this -7 is a little heavy, but I've rescinded my blessing from the Cardinals. So anything can happen here. Anything can happen. Let's move on. Let's move on. Cleveland Browns visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow. Wow, this is going to be I just can't believe that he did lose cuz they were winning that game. And Dylan Gabriel was so close to locking and like that would have been quite a moment for him. But O'Connell just came up. I wonder how that plays here. I honestly kind of want to pick Browns. I kind of want to pick Browns here to just win outright. Could it be a dog barking at the collar? Because that's what these games can be like. It's in Pittsburgh. Why do I want to say that the Browns win? And Steelers defense still hasn't woken up. They are off the bye, so perhaps they've gotten healthy. No, man, I like Browns to cover. I'm gonna highlight them to win, just because I kind of like them here, and I think that they are building. I talk about Quinshon Judkins. He had a touchdown taken away in London. I think that there's a bit of an identity even on the offense. Fannin also talked about him. He's a stud. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns can go and get the upset here. Let's move on, though. On the other side, Steelers, coming back from the bye. Aaron Rodgers was drunk in Dublin. Defense is still not all there. I haven't seen a lot of TJ Watt, so we'll see. Let's move on. Seahawks visiting the Jaguars. Wow, what a compelling game, man. This could be a Super Bowl in like another reality at the end of the year, but it won't be because the Jaguars are a cursed franchise. Jags -1.5. Wow, I do like the Jags -1.5 here. Seahawks traveling, 12 p.m. game. I feel like also kind of dopamine dump from last week, even though they lost. And I think -1.5. I gotta ride with that. It's a small and like I can feel like the Jaguars can handle that. A -2.5, I don't know, but I think a -1.5 for sure. Honestly, I'm just excited about this game. Two elite defenses, two quarterbacks sort of rebuilding their names. Brian Thomas Jr., I could see Brian Thomas Jr. having a big game. I think he's going to snap out of it. I think that his teammate Lacey that was supposed to come to the NFL, I think that death has really gotten to him. We have some more details coming out about how that was like he didn't even have to, unalive himself. He didn't even commit a crime. I think I could see BTJ having a monster game here, and that could be a deciding factor. And I like the Jaguars to cover that -1.5. Let's move on. Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Miami Dolphins. Chargers favored -4.5. Interesting. I don't like that at all. Something's wrong. And American Hampton going down. It's bad news. because now they have tried to do. In fact, they kind of gave Jacksonville the blueprint on what to do with Trevor Lawrence. Justin Herbert, I think, is better than Trevor Lawrence, but I think that they had the same sort of like idea, like, hey, we're gonna actually make this guy be great by taking the spotlight away from him. Well, we're gonna run the rock 35 times a game, and he's gonna throw 25 times a game. He's gonna convert 21% of his 21 out of 25 passes, but we're gonna win. This year, O'Mara Hampton goes down. Line kind of is an issue. Defense is an issue, which prevents you from running the ball. I don't really like what I'm seeing out of the Chargers. Flying out to the East Coast early game. We saw what happened when they flew out to New York. This is a tough one. I do like the Dolphins to cover that plus 4.5. That's too many points for the Chargers. The Chargers could win, but it ain't gonna be by that many. Tell you that much. What other notes? Mike McDaniel, in a way, is sort of responding here. He's sort of responding. If he can get another win here, maybe he has the locker room again. I think maybe Tyreek was just a bit of a distraction for the whole unit. And now that that's out of the way, maybe there's something there. But let's move on. Los Angeles Rams visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Rams favored at -7.5. I mean, I have to ride with that. I have to ride with Rams to cover. It's a big number, traveling, East Coast, early slate, yada, yada. Puka Nacua is a generational talent, and Matthew Stafford is playing so well. I can't believe that I thought that this was going to be the year that things fell apart for him. He is playing like a madman, dude, is making every throw. I think that -7.5 hits. The Ravens, why don't they trade away Derrick Henry? I think that the New England Patriots, when they welcome the addition of Tractor Cito, who knows? Let's move on. Tennessee Titans visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the Titans here, actually. I'd like them to flat out win. I'm going to highlight that as well. Because yeah, that could be the dog barking off the collar bet, because I just don't believe in these Raiders at all. And I think that Max Crosby is a really great player who wants to be a leader, but I don't think is actually a leader. I think that there are guys that, because of the chip on their shoulder, because of their drive, they can be a little alienating. And in a way, there are guys that figure that out, that they're like, no, I need to, like somebody like a Cristiano Ronaldo, I feel like is a good example of this. Like, I feel like that dude kind of figured out how to be a teammate as he got older, because it's like you can't burn people out thinking that everybody's going to be like you. Everybody's going to, be nonstop, go, go, go. That's not how some people are built, even at the highest level. And I think that he kind of burns out. He kind of wears on his teammates, and he's not the one to respond when things get ugly, which is also kind of an issue. But it's hard to respond when you're on the fucking Raiders and you're getting double teamed all the time. There's nobody else to work off of you. Wilkins used to be kind of that guy. But yeah, I like the Titans here. I think Cam Ward is going to have more responsibility going forward, and I like that for this team, and that's why I think that that's a good bet there. Let's move on. 49ers visiting the Buccaneers. It looks like Brock Purdy's going to be out another week. Looks like Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings are going to be out. I mean, how can you pick against the Bucs? And at -3, that's a light bag. It's light points. -3, that's easy for Baker. They will be without Bucky Irving, but I think Mike Evans might be back, or he's possible to be back. I wouldn't be surprised if he was back. Tough motherfucker. Tough son of a bitch. But yeah, man, I like the Bucs here at home. 49ers have been looking really great. Mac Jones obviously conducting this offense really well. But now I gotta believe in the Buccaneers. Let's move on. Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Green Bay Packers. Packers -14. I have to go with that, even though it is Flacco. It is Flacco on learning the playbook all in one week. He's going to have 14 plays. 10 of them are going to involve like just 3 vertical routes. Just let the guy rip it. Let him go out there and spin that damn thing. But the Pack at home, with them sort of starting to figure things out on offense, giving Josh Jacobs the touches he needs. I don't like the situation with the wideouts. I think that they just have too many cooks in the kitchen. But minus 14, as crazy as it sounds, you have to lean into it. I think the Bengals are broken, and I think that it starts with Zach Taylor. I think he's a broken man. I don't think that he really enjoys life. I think that he gives like medieval peasant vibes. Like would never trust him to elevate any experience. Like you can't trust Zach Taylor to make a reservation at a restaurant. You can't trust Zach Taylor to, ride out a day on vacation. You're just going to suffer. It's going to be miserable. So yeah, Packers minus 14. Let's move on. Detroit Lions visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I heard about this line. I can't believe that it's still what it is. Chiefs favored at minus 2.5. That is crazy. This is free money. I don't care. I know that everybody else is probably going to bet Lions. This could be the greater value, better choice, honestly. No, we'll leave the Buccaneers. I like the Bucs there at minus 120. But what are we thinking? Like, is it just that Mahomes is that good? And at home, maybe they think that the Chiefs will be like a home team that can put things together at Arrowhead. I don't see it. Lions have come into Kansas City before and pissed on the carpet. So I don't know why that. And I think Sunday Night Football, bro, they are going to be, oh my God, they're going to be foaming at the mouth. This is going to be scary. Somebody might die. Brian Branch might kill somebody with a hit. But, yeah, I don't know why you would pick Kansas City to win or to even cover. I just don't see that. Let's move on. Buffalo Bills visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Bills favored at minus 4.5. Oh, man. I hate to say I was right about Michael Penix. I hate to say I was right about the city of Atlanta, which is sort of a cursed sports town. Bills are going to take it out on them. I might hit an alternate line on this one. This could also be we could have 2 Ashager money makers this week. Because I could also see them winning by 20, by 3 touchdowns. Oh, let's do that. Let's start sharpening these bets out. Because Eagles, who knows? But there we have it. Let's talk some notes, though. On this Monday Night Football. Falcons do have kind of a solid secondary. They have pieces on defense. Raheem Morris is a good defensive coach. But I just think that the Bills are like Josh is going to be like, there's something in that homecoming king of mentality, which is not going to let what just happened against the Pats slide. And they have to bounce back. They have to. I don't know. I said it. Yeah, I mentioned it already, but I'm not a Michael Penix believer. And hold on, I'm making sure that there's. Oh yes, it is a doubleheader. Because golly, they'll do that. But yeah, no, we're not done talking. I thought we were a little light. I thought that was the case. But yeah, there you have it. I think Bills have that in the bag. I'm gonna bet that minus 19.5 for sure. Let's move on. Chicago Bears visiting the Washington Commanders. So many storylines, so many intricacies with these two teams there. I think that these two quarterbacks will just be forever tied together. The draft picks and things like that, all this stuff that goes into it. Commanders minus 4.5. I like that. I think that the Bears, man, I'm very hesitant to say this, but I think that the Bears also have a football savant on their side in Ben Johnson. And I think that the message has finally clicked. I think he has the hard-ass mentality of an Aaron Glenn, but he has sort of the football, like, told you so to back it up in a way that perhaps Glenn didn't. Glenn has it more where it's like, he has the locker room behind him, the players will play hard, and then the plays that he wants to happen will occur. Ben Johnson is like, in a way, the opposite. It's like the plays occur because he sort of forces and regiments it into his players, because it's not, he makes it just second nature. And they could show up, half dead. Their girlfriend left them, their car got keyed, whatever is going, and he'll have them on the right page. That -4.5, I'm a little tentative to bet it, because I think Bears defense, it's going to remember what happened last year in this game, in this stadium, with that Hail Mary, and I think that they might be revved up. But please stop with the doubleheaders and stop with the Europe games. I'm sick of it. I really am. Let's narrow down these bets. We're going to keep the Bills -19 as, I'm not going to do Bucks because 49ers can always surprise. I'm not going to do Browns. I'm going to leave Dallas as a greater value, but I'd rather bet Buffalo as a greater value. Oh, yeah. Do I want to do Browns to go upset the Steelers at home, or Titans to go upset the Raiders? I'm going to say Titans go upset the Raiders, and that's our bets. Let's go over them. We're going to say that the Titans go and upset the Raiders, money line +180. Next up, we're going to say that the Bills cover the -4.5 spread at -115. And then we're going to bet an alternate spread for an Ash Shaker moneymaker for Bills to cover -19.5. Okay, there you have it. Drywallers, shot callers, and everyone in between. Don't you ever forget, the big train never stops.